Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Happy Monday, and welcome to No Offense, All Offense, the live pop culture talk show where we roast and we recap the latest going on in our favorite reality TV shows, pop culture news, and just anything that suits our fancy. I am stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture, Joleen Lunzer, here to roast, recap, take a comedic look at the things that we talk about. So hopefully you're all having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Yes, yes, yes. Today we're going to talk about something that has taken the nation by storm. Okay. And we're going to roast it. We're going to recap it. It is a lot, but it is a soap opera reality show. It's like the first TikTok series that has taken off in this way. It's the first time seemingly someone has made a 500-hour TikTok series, and it has went this viral. And there's so much to roast. There's so much to recap. I have so many opinions about this. But first, as we say, make sure you smash that like, you guys. Let's set a like goal for 500, see if we can get there. That would be amazing. Also, thank you to those of you who have subscribed, whether you've been subscribed for a long time or you're a recent subscriber. We are well on our way to 40K. I say that very hopeful as we head towards 37,000 subscribers. So thank you. If you want to support the channel further than liking or subscribing, you can always send a super chat while we're live. I'll highlight your comment. You can send a super thanks after the video posts, or you can hit me up on the Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Everything is at the bottom of the screen regarding that information and in the description of this video. I also have a YouTube membership, Patreon, lots of ways to support if you can. You don't have to. Also, shout out to Realification. Realification sent me wonderful gifts off my Amazon wish list for my birthday, and I appreciate it. One was this beautiful disco vase, and then she also sent me these as I lean down. Look at these things that go in my yard. They're like little light up balls as I continue to try to be an adult. And I'm going to stick them in my ground, and that's going to light the way to hopefully one day a garden as I continue to become an adult. So thank you. No, I think it was 500. Was it 500 minutes? No, it was 500 hours because it's 10-minute. There's 50 plus 10-minute clips. Now, I'm not a mathematician, Celia. Shout out to Celia. But I think that's fine. I don't know, you guys. You're going to have to check my math. But I'm pretty sure it's more than, yes, because, okay, here's the thing. This is what we're talking about today. We're talking about reesateesa. All right. This is a woman who had a pretty decent following on social media, mainly TikTok, and she would share her opinions and commentary on things. And then she decided to post something that I'll show you what started all of this. Okay, 500 minutes. You guys know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. Don't check my math. Or do check my math. 500 minutes. So I don't know. Right? 50. Just, you know what? I went to school for journalism. I did not go to school for the math. Okay, well, I felt like I was watching it for 20 hours. Does that make sense to anybody? And I loved it. I binged all of it. Okay, so 500 minutes, I guess that would be, right? Is that what we're talking about? Why does that still sound not enough time? I feel like I watched, do you know the lady in the Titanic who's like, it was 80 or whatever she says? I feel like I'm now an elderly woman, and maybe I am. I don't know. But I watched so much of it. It's my woman math. Okay. Don't ask me. I'm just a girl. So again, I got a little sidetracked. Okay. I'm going to show you how we got here, how we got to reesateesa sharing this 52-part, I believe, series on TikTok about an ex of hers, her ex-husband, who she says is a pathological liar. And she takes us down a dirty John path like I've never seen before. And she does it so well. And I was so entertained. And I feel like this woman could do multiple audiobooks because I binged it. Shout out to Indiana Girl Jules, who sent this to me like last week. I binged it over the weekend. I cleaned out all my kitchen cabinets and my pantry, something I had been putting off, organizing that. And sure enough, all I did is pop in, Miss Reesateesa, and I couldn't stop. I could not stop. And you guys are right. You're right. Because what I essentially watched was about 5 to 7 hours of um her series. I can't believe I said 500 hours, you guys. Start over. We're starting over. Okay. Now remember, I'm going to give you my opinion, and my opinion is bold, clearly, because I will tell you math is math when it's not math. All right. Shout out to Celia for catching me on that, because I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's 500 hours. Okay. But you're welcome to have your opinion in the chat, and we can all just agree to disagree as we talk about this crazy world we live in and all these pop culture news.
That's my opinion!
It's definitely my opinion. Okay. It's just my opinion. It's definitely my opinion. Right? Celia, yes, she is an exceptional storyteller. This woman, reesateesa. I would listen to many things that anything in the future. I'm sure there's a book, movie coming out of this, because like I said, it has been trending. Like, people are going nuts for this. The Rolling Stone magazine did an article. All the news outlets are trying to explain this to people who don't understand TikTok too. Like, this woman is getting more views than television shows. And that should tell you something, Hollywood. Maybe you want to get right with yourself. Shout out to Nana. Nana's on her way to California, and we are so excited. My mom's going to be here with me for a while. So, hello, Vita in Denver. Okay, let me tell you. I want you guys to sound off too, your opinions in the chat. Let me show you where this all started. So this is long before she did a 500-hour, 5,000-hour, 500-minute TikTok series about her pathological ex-husband. Reesateesa did I think it's a stitch. Okay, I have a TikTok, follow me at Joleen Lunzer, but I'm not as proficient as at the TikTok as I am at the YouTubies. All right. She did a stitch where a gentleman asked a question. She answered it. She asked people if they wanted to hear more about the story. Turns out they did, which turned into a 52-part series on TikTok. Let's take a listen.
What's a up thing that your ex did to you?
During COVID, my ex called me crying. I was at work. He was at work. He called to tell me that his grandmother passed away suddenly from COVID. She was about 85, 86 years old. The whole family was distraught. He said he talked to his brother. He talked to another brother. They weren't going to be able to have a funeral because it was COVID. There were so many restrictions. He told me that she had died down in Augusta. We live in Metro Atlanta. And so he's going to try to make arrangements to bring her up to Atlanta so she could be buried next to his grandfather. He was completely beside himself, wouldn't eat, just spent days just agonizing and in a lot of emotional pain. And it was a really difficult situation. Later on, I then discovered his grandmother died in 2008. He had not spoken to his brother since 2015. And that is when I discovered that I had married a pathological liar, not to be confused with a compulsive liar. He made up everything, made up relationships, made up family members who had been dead for years. He pretended to have phone calls. He forged fake documents to try to buy a house. In the end, the only thing that turned out to be true was his name and date of birth. Even the information on our marriage license was complete fabrication. But it was not grounds for an annulment in the state of Georgia. Let me know if you want to hear more.
So she posted that, and people were like, yeah, we want to hear more, because who wouldn't? I mean, that's insane. So this man, we're going to talk about some of the lies that he said to this woman over the course of their relationship. Okay. So they met early in the pandemic. So this is reesateesa, the picture I'm sharing here. If you want to go, she's up to like over 3 million now followers after telling this story. She already had, a good following, but then she really skyrocketed in followers after starting to post these, this series. And I believe she posted it all 52 parts within a couple days. So she was putting the work in, whether she was doing her makeup, doing her hair, parked, sometimes driving. She really was going to get this story out. And she said, I will tell it, the good, the bad, the ugly, even the parts that make me look bad, which make me believe what this woman is saying. Okay. There are multiple reasons I believe this woman. I've seen some backlash. I was talking to my friend Mims today. Shout out to Mims, you guys on YouTube. And he was telling me there's a little backlash. I guess Charlemagne the God, and I went and listened to it on the Breakfast Club a couple days ago, was talking about big back women, and they need to know their worth. And just because maybe she might be a plus size woman, that she fell for this rotting man. But I get that Charlamagne's trying to make like a joke out of this, but I think unfortunately why these kind of stories about men in general, why the scandals, why these things resonate so much and people are so invested is because these kind of men exist. These kind of dudes exist far too often, and you've either known someone who's been kind of scammed by a dude like this, you were a woman who was scammed, or in a relationship with someone narcissist, or liars, things like that. So I think the real question is not what you weigh, it's asking, why are there so many men out there who act this way, that make these stories hashtag, I don't know, I just did this, hashtag relatable? Why does it resonate so much with people? I mean, obviously it's a very salacious story, and we are drawn to that, but it's also, as I am watching this, and I was watching this series that's over 8 hours, thank you, Deborah, I think I'm like, oh, my ex was kind of like that and kind of like that. And there were things that resonated with me that I was like, oh. And I think you could probably ask most women in the chat, most women who watched reesateesa, and they're like, yeah, I've known men like that, or my friend dated a man like that, or something like that, right? Fat phobia, so original. Well, Charlamagne the God's hanging out with Andrew Schultz and real comedians now, so I guess he thinks he's a real comedian. Ha, funny, but I would stay in your lane regarding this one, Charlamagne the God, because it's like a tired take that she's big backed and big boned, and so she doesn't know her worth. I think there's this conditioning in women from a very young age that, if you want to reproduce, you better find that dude. If you want to, you got to be married, you got to do this. And what I've learned from watching reesateesa is that she was very much influenced by her religious background, and that pushed her maybe two directions she wouldn't have wanted to go, marrying this guy. And there's just lots of factors. So I think to dumb it down just to that, I get you're trying to make a joke as a comedian. I'm like, okay, fine. That's cool. But it's not an original take. It's kind of tired. And I feel like you deserve Donkey of the Day for that one. Because this dude also was a larger gentleman. And I just don't think that has anything to do with the story. I think the main takeaway point is there are too many men out there that are like this guy, either a little or exactly. Okay. So, reesateesa. Let's just dial it back, Joleen. Dial it back. It's a Wonderful Life. A Wonderful Life says only 6 hours. How many hours it was? Obviously, we know I watched 500 hours of it. So, right. Married in the Islands. I found this more entertaining than supposed reality TV. Diva says, do I have a 50-part story in me? Because did she get a trip to Europe? Well, that's what people are also, when I was talking to Mims, I guess people are up in arms about reesateesa possibly making money off of this. Well, first of all, she should make money off of this because she gave us 500 hours, aka 500 minutes of sharing this story on a platform. Now, I have seen things where she's not even monetized on TikTok, but I do think that people have been trying to raise money for her because her ultimate dream has been to go to, she shares it in the story that's very vulnerable. She's really spilling it to us in this. And she wants to go to London. She's like, I want to do all the London things. I want to have tea. I want to go to Buckingham Palace. She wants to go to Paris. And she was supposed to do this with this liar, but come to find out, I don't think felons can get passports. I don't know if that's true, but allegedly. And the trip that he said he was scheduling for them never came to fruition. Basically, everything this ex of hers said was a lie. I would say 98% of what he told her is a lie, is what we find out in this TikTok series. So she meets a man she's going to call Legion throughout the season, series. And they meet on, I think they match on Tinder and Hinge or something, or Hinder. And one of the first red flags that I don't know if she noticed right away, but something he did ultimately cop to, was that he had multiple accounts on these sites with different names. One was like his name and one was a variation, I think, of his name. Now this triggered me. Okay. Because I had an ex. Okay. Now, when you hindsight, guys, always hindsight, you're like, man, I put up with a lot of shit, but could it be? I mean, I'll take part of the, responsibility, but also that I've been conditioned to believe that like weak and unavailable men are attractive, and that I'm supposed to be out here and be like, Captain Save a Dude ho. Um, and if a boy hits you, he likes you. If he treats you bad, he likes you, because guys just don't know how to express themselves. So we're kind of conditioned from a young age. We talk about this a lot on this channel, to make excuses for problematic men, which then leads us into these problematic relationships, to which people call us out as adults and be like, why would you put up with that? I don't know, because every story I'm ever told is like, oh, did that little boy pull your hair? That just means he likes you. Oh, boys develop emotionally, slower than women. You got to give them time. You got to save them. You got to be a second mommy. I think there's a lot of that, whether it's conscious or subconscious, going on within us women. And why don't we ever ask, how come there's just no good? Where are the good men? Where have all the cowboys gone? Okay, remember that song in the 90s? Where have all the cowboys gone? Do, 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 do. What about that? What about that? How come it's always, the onus is always on the women? Well, maybe there's just too many dirty dogs out there. And shout out to the ones that aren't. But, and they say, well, girls only like bad boys. Again, you told us since we were little itty bitty ladies, before we even joined a titty committee, that boys that are mean to us like us. So the ones that are nice to us, we're like, what the fuck do you want? Because we've been told. No, little Joey likes you. Yeah, that's why he kicked you in the face and called you fat. He loves you. Give him a chance. Paula Cole, thank you, Zeneca. So it was a Facebook dating site, okay? So they meet, right? They meet. They have a date, and they schedule this date. She gets a flat tire on the way to the date. She calls him and she's like, oh my God, I got a flat tire. They're about to go to Cheesecake Factory because reesateesa, she is sharing it all. Would I admit that Cheesecake Factory is my favorite restaurant online? I wouldn't. Is it one of my favorites? Of course it is. They give you delicious bread and cheesecake, and it's, reasonably priced depending on where you're at. But she admitted that. That's kind of saying, Applebee's is your favorite. So reesateesa wasn't like she was asking for too much. She was like, take me to the Cheesecake Factory, and that is fine. So this man right off the bat, winning. He just got to have cheesecake money. Do you know that there's a cheesecake app that you can basically do cheesecake layaway? You can, I think, pay off your cheesecake, or either way, you can put your payment information into it, whether you link it to a PayPal or something, and pay for it right on the app. She made it very, very easy. Okay. So she gets a flat tire on the way. She calls him. He comes out. Not only does he help her with the flat tire, I think he buys her the tire, and she's like, oh, I am a smitten kitten. Because again, our standards very low, because we've been told since the beginning of time, since before the menstruation station started, that you gotta be girls, you gotta just understand these little guys. These little guys, they just mature slower. Girls are just smarter. It's like, no, tell the cute little boys to catch up. Okay, because I don't want to have to dumb myself down, or any of that, because you guys aren't encouraging little boys to get on our level. Okay. So they meet. This is like March 2020. COVID is like going into full effect. They're hanging out a bunch. They're really hitting it off. He's saying all the right things. He says, oh, I lived in California. He talks about he was previously married. He left her because he caught her cheating. Like it was damn American Horror Story Murder House or something. Like he walked in on her in bed, he said, his ex-wife, with another man, then he left, and he's got all this money, and he was an arena football player, and he went to San Diego State University. And she's like, okay, that looks good. So as they're hanging out and they're spending more time together, lockdown's about to go down, and they're in Atlanta, Georgia. Or they're not in Atlanta, they're like in Augusta. There's some part of Georgia, all right? Not Atlanta. But they have to decide, like, oh my God, like you're really hitting it off. Should we quarantine together? And I think, when the Panakuchen hit, I was already married. So me and my husband, we were like, obviously we're gonna, it'd be weird if I was like, I just really don't feel like quarantining with you. It's, I love you, but that's like a lot. No, we obviously quarantine together. Okay. So I did have another point. I got sidetracked for a second, but it was triggering to me, that first red flag. Okay. when he had multiple names on multiple dating sites because my ex did that same thing. Okay. And like I said, hindsight. And I found it because he left it open on a computer. And I was like in my 20s and I'm like, why are you on a dating site? Like we were together for a while by then. Monogamous on my part. Come to find out he was a cheater, pumpkin eater, and a liar. But he's like, oh my God, Joel. He did a similar thing that Legion did to her when they talked about it. He kind of made a joke out of it, like, oh my God, it's kind of silly. And that's what my ex goes, look at what I put my height as. And he made himself a little person on it. I'm pretty sure. He was like very short. And he made me feel as if it was like, maybe I'm being the weird one. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, looking back, I should have ran that day that I found that. Like, that's not funny to do. That's not a thing you do when you're in a relationship. But I was young, in my early to mid 20s. And I'm just like, well, maybe I'm being ridiculous. Women, we're told we're hysterical. We're not hysterically funny. We're hysterical from the uterus. We blow things out of proportion. Oh my God. You don't want to go to and put your claws in. You don't want to be overbearing. You don't want to be his mother, but you do want to be his mother. You don't want to raise him, but you're going to have to raise him. There's all these things you're trying to balance. Watch the Barbie movie. They explain it much better than I can ever explain it. All right. So I was just like, well, maybe he was a kid. I don't know. I guess he's just on this. Maybe he's had it for a while. I don't know. He put the wrong name, the wrong height. Maybe he was doing it for a joke. I don't think it's funny, but I guess we're going to move on with our life. So when this was one of the first red flags, I was like, hashtag trigger warning. Okay. Yes. Celia says, smash the like, you guys. So they decide to quarantine together in her townhome because he had just, according to him, relocated from California, and he had like a studio, small apartment or something, and she had a 3-bedroom townhome. And so they started quarantining there. Well, he started like paying the bills. So she was like, oh, okay. He's like gonna put in, he didn't just like show up to her house and say, oh, you pay the rent. He started paying the rent and the bills. And he had, come off to her and told her like he worked at a condiment company. She didn't say which condiment company, but I was like ketchup, like mayonnaise. Did he work at Hellman's? Heinz? And so he said he had this pretty big position. He made a lot of money. He had offshore accounts. He just really, he love bombed her. He just really made her believe there was a future in this. And as much as looking at it, you're like, that's moving too fast. This is like red flag city. Don't ever move this fast with anyone. It seems romantic. We see it in the movies. Love at first sight. No. Love is blind. It's not. Love has like 2015 vision. Is that good? I think that's 1515, 2020. It has very good vision. It does not have to be blind. Yes. Shelly makes a good point. She also, reesateesa says she didn't want to be alone. I mean, we're all facing a panic and we're all scared. We've never experienced a global pandemic before. She didn't want to be alone. He played up her insecurities, and she really felt like maybe I found the right guy. As women, we start getting older and we're worried, like, how many eggs do I got? We're basically not, they don't explain it very well to us when we're young that you're only born with so many eggs. If you got 5 eggs, you're going to die with only having 5 eggs. I mean, they're going to die first. But again, as much as I'm not good at math, I'm also not good at gynecology. But you know what I'm saying? There's not unlimited eggs and fertility and all these things, it gets harder to do as you get older. So I get it. I get where she's coming from. She wants to find a good dude. She wants to settle down. We're facing a global panic and she has a man in front of her who takes her to Cheesecake Factory, pays for her tire, is now going to pay the bills. And this is a working lady who has never had it, kind of this good before, she said. A man who's love bombing her, telling her all the right things. And she's like, I want it to be true. I think she wants it so bad. I think this happens in life. We want things to be true, even though I know the offshore account, I was like, That's a little ocean. That's a little too Ocean's 11 for me. That's if you say you have an offshore account, I'm like, first of all, you're a criminal because who in the Trump University has offshore account? Like what? Just the criminals, just the richest criminals. It's in the movies. It's crazy. Okay. So reesateesa is telling us this story. She says he goes to work every day, 6:15, home by like 4:15. He's paying the bills. Things are going well. They start talking about getting a home. All right. And this is in the pandemic. So you can't really visit homes in person. There's a lot, everything's online. And he says in these offshore accounts, he has enough money. He's got enough cash money millionaire to pay cash for homes. Now, I will say, I live in California. There was a lot of people during the pandemic who were just like making it rain on all cash offers on homes. And I'm like, who are you people? Where did you come from? And how did you get this blood money? Okay. So not only did he say he could put cash offers, but he also showed her a that he was approved for, I think, up to like a 700 and some $1,000 mortgage. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, I know reesateesa, I couldn't solely be responsible for a mortgage, but she's like, okay, like let's look into, getting a home. So they start working with a realtor friend of his. And this gets very sus because she's definitely left out of the process of looking for the home, and she's getting attached to these homes. I mean, they're looking at them together, but she's left out of the process of, the deal. Because when you buy a home, which me and my husband did for the first time this past May, it is a whole process. And if you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. You're just like, what? And I haven't even been in this home a year and I'm still learning all of these things. And you definitely want to be hands-on involved in that. Well, these homes that they would find, they kept falling through because they would work with a realtor, and then the realtors would be like, okay, you want to buy this house? You want to do a cash money offer? He was like, yes, I have the cash in offshore account. They're like, okay, you have to show us proof of funds. And he goes, Legion, the boyfriend at the time of reesateesa, is like, no, I'm not showing my offshore funds, my proof of funds until they accept the offer. And they're like, they're not going to accept the offer, not going to move forward. That's like basic, I think, realtor stuff 101, that why would you have to show us that you have that money, because when you buy a home, they're going to look through all of your accounts. They tell you don't purchase anything before it. Make sure your credit is so sound and good. Like, they are a stickler. They look through everything you have. And he's like, I don't show my funds. And she's like, bitch, show your funds. Show your funds. What are you talking about? We have to get a house. You got to show. And he's like, no. So this kind of kept happening. They went through multiple realtors. She realized that the first realtor, he made the mistake. Well, the first was his friend. She's like, I don't want to work with him anymore. I don't even know this man. He made the mistake of not getting a proof of funds early on. And those of you who are in, the home selling business can probably explain this better, but he should have, the realtor should have gotten this information. You want your pre-approval letter. If you are going to make a cash offer like that, you definitely want a proof of the funds. But everything he would promise kept falling through. It seems like he was promising her the world. He was promising her a car. He said, hey, while they were dating, he got promoted to VP of condiments. All right. He was VP at Hellman's, allegedly. Okay. Remember, everything I say is true, except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. All right. Shout out to reesateesa. Go follow her on TikTok, as well as me, if you feel so inclined. So he's VP of Ketchup and Mustard, and he's so happy, and he's like, I'm getting a company car. They say I can spend up to $90,000. And also around this time, she finds out she's pregnant. So now, in the matter of what seems like no time at all, she's quarantining in a global panakuchen with a man who's just like, I can show you the world. And she's like, oh my God, I love the world. Cheesecake factory aplenty, all the bread and key lime. Yes, I got it like that, babe. Like, he's just promising everything. She finds out she's pregnant. So she's like, oh shit. She says, I'm very religious. He's really religious. We got to get married. They share to their family about the pregnancy. And I guess the family's even like, you guys got to get married. You either got to get married or you got to be done. Because they're already living in sin, allegedly. Okay. If you believe in that. I don't really believe in sin. So there you go. No, no offense, all offense. And so they're living in sin and she's preggers. So it's a mess. So the homes thing keep falling through. Just keep falling through. There's a car situation where he's like, I get a company car. And she's like, all I want is a Kia. Like, again, Cheesecake Factory reesateesa just wants a Kia. I don't know anyone who just wants a Kia. You know what I mean? At least a Honda. No offense to Kia. No offense, all offense. But she just wants he goes, you can't have a Kia. You got to get a BMW. You got to get an Audi. So I think she falls in love with like a BMW blue 862 series with chrome interior. I'm not sure. I'm not a gearhead. I'm not a car person. Okay. Yeah. He's the VP of damn mustard sauce. He's the VP of ranch dressing over there. It's a big deal. All right. No one's going to get any Thousand Island unless they go through Legion. So he starts showing her these luxury cars. And then she picks out one and it's supposed to be delivered. And he says, hey, take off the day of work, baby, so you can wait for this car. And she's like, okay, I work from home, but yeah, I'll wait around. She waits. Shocker, the car never comes. So now she's been promised a home that never came. She's been promised a car that doesn't come. And she's just like, what in the what? She's starting to realize that there's some issues here. She's catching them in like little lies, and it's not feeling good because she's pregnant. So she's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Now, by this time, the family, they're still in a panakuchen. So she's not really seeing her family. He's not seeing his, but he's told her, hey, I got 7 sisters or something. He said he's got 2 or 3 sisters. He's got all these brothers. He talks to them on the phone. He's having conversations with his siblings and his friends and lots of people. She says he's always on the phone. Now, she doesn't necessarily always hear these people, but she hears him talking on the phone in front of her. Okay. Yeah, it was cognac interior. Right, Celia? I think so. It sounded nice. Okay. So she just, I think, against her better judgment, the car doesn't come. She starts reaching out, wondering, where are these things? And finding out things she doesn't want to find out. But I think in her head, she just was like, all right, we're here. I'm going to have a baby with this man. She starts almost letting him off the hook with things, She's like, I'm just going to allow him, knowing he's going to lie to me. And so then I can just say, I don't want the car. I don't want the house right now. We will just rent and move forward just because she's pregnant. She's with this man. And she's kind of like, there is a sense of shame that goes along with these relationships. When you get duped, when you know in your heart of hearts, in your conscious and your subconscious, there is almost a failure that you feel. I know I felt like that previously. And when you get to a certain age as a woman, I mean, there's just all this pressure that I wish we didn't feel and I wish society didn't put on us. But I think she felt that and she felt stupid. And she is of the belief system that what happens in your relationship in your home, you shouldn't share it with other people outside of the relationship, whether it be family or whether it be friends. Now, I too was very much like this in my 20s and probably early 30s. I believe that you need a balance of it. I don't think you should shut yourself off from having people to reach out to. I don't think you should share too much, especially if you get in like little arguments or just like basic couple things, because you don't want your family or your friends building a case against your significant other. Relationships are difficult, ebbs and flows. I get it. But you also don't want to get to the point where you're not telling anyone anything and you're putting on a front for fear of what they'll do or they'll say. I think that kind of traps you. And I felt trapped a lot because I was putting out a facade that I was in a great relationship. And I think she did too. There was a friend at work that she reached out to, I think, and an aunt. But other than that, she kept it very close to the chest on that stuff. And I think, you don't want to call your girlfriends at everything your significant other does, because it's probably not worth it. If you give it a minute and just let it breathe, let it live, it's probably not that serious. But some girlfriends have that relationship where they're like, oh my gosh, can you believe what John did? What did they do? And then they won't, I guess, build a case or a dislike for John, if you will. Okay. So she has a situation, a very traumatic, horrible situation during her pregnancy where she was already worried when she got pregnant. And I'm sure the stress of this didn't help because she felt like I don't know how old reesateesa is, but she felt like health-wise, she wasn't the healthiest for a pregnancy. Maybe she was worried age-wise. Either way, one never knows, what's going to happen when you're pregnant. And there are, unfortunately, a lot of women have miscarriages and miscarry. And she was one of those women. So within a month of being pregnant, she miscarries. Now, they give her the options, which a lot of women have been given before. You can pass the baby naturally. You can come in and we can, surgically, or you take a medication and you pass at home. I don't know what the medical term would be, but the pregnancy itself, ends because, it's not a viable pregnancy any longer. So it's COVID. So she's like, I don't want to go. He's very worried about COVID. He says he's got a sister who is a nurse during this panikukin. And so she says, all right, well, I'll do the at-home thing. And she says it was the most painful, horrible, horrible experience. She was so sick. And then he was there with her during that. But then she went back to the doctor to get checked, and she didn't get it all, I guess is the best way to put it. So they were going to have to medically go in, and she's going to have surgery. The day she's supposed to have surgery is like, I forget the exact date. She tells us in the series, but he's supposed to go with her. Obviously, the father of the child that they just lost. And he says 2 days before, I can't. I'm up for, I think this is when he's up for the big VP of mustard sauce. He was like, you guys, I'm going to be the top dog of Hellman's. All right. I am going to be king Italian dressing. I can't. I'm sorry. The butter needs me. I'm going to be Mr. Margarine. I'm going to run this shit. Okay. I'm going to spread Smuckers all over the place. Is Smuckers technically a condiment? Maybe not. Maybe not. And she's like, what? And he goes, but my sister will take you. And she's like, no, I've never met your sister because it's the panikukin. And I've only heard you talk to her on the phone. I don't know her. This is very private. This is something horrific that I'm going through. So instead, I believe her aunt had offered and her friend from work takes her. He's supposed to pick her up after. They can barely get a hold of him because he's got some assistant that's reaching out to her. Hey, hi, yeah, reesateesa, sorry what you're going through. Anywho, we're in a big catch-up meeting, and not like catch-up, but like literally with a K-E-T, choop. We're in the catch-up meeting. We're talking about, mixing mayonnaise and ketchup. So we got, so sorry he can't be there. So she's communicating with some assistant of his. Okay. Yeah. He's they call it, yes. Assistant to the manager, assistant to the regional manager. So she's believing, he's got this big time job. He's important. She's not happy, but he's like, hey, I'm a 6-figure daddy. I got to now be here for this. Just happens to be on the day you're having this surgery to remove the rest of the pregnancy from your body. And she's just like, what? And she's talking to his assistant. He allegedly has some assistant. And then the nurses, after she's, out of surgery, they try to get a hold of him. Like, you got to come get her. He shows up like hours later. So just like, he showed up like this for that tire. But when you got this horrific situation, he did not do that. Kimberly says, I felt like the pregnancy was longer than a month. However, it was truly Mother Nature's way of removing the toxic energy. She miscarried on his B-day in June. Yeah, I think it was like June 17th or something. But it was like very early on, probably within those first, if not a month, within those first 3 months, which is a very crucial time in a pregnancy and like the most dangerous time, they'll say. So, she's going through all of this. They're still together. He's still just like the house thing. And finally, she's like, I don't want to go. He would get her all excited about whether it be a car or or a trip or a house. And she would get so invested in these things almost to take it away. So the way she explains it is he's a pathological liar and also someone who she believes got off on the fact that when he would promise her these things, he knew she was never going to get. Like he got off on the fact that she was very excited for this, but knew he never had any intention of giving these things to her. And also knowing he didn't have the ability to, because this man is saying he has all this money, but he ends up not having the money. Surprisingly, the offshore accounts did not exist, which it seems so silly, but I mean, it's, love makes you do the wacky, like they say on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So while this is all going down and she feels like she's already, I think there's a point, and I'm speculating here, but I think there's a point where she's so invested in this, it's almost like, well, I kind of made my bed, I'm going to lie in it. And we're still in a global panic cocoon. So she believes he has this family. She believes he has this money because he's shown her screenshots of the accounts. Now, I don't know if at the time she knew they were screenshots, but I believe she thought they were directly from the accounts. He said he had this money in Chase and he had this, in addition to the offshore, that he had all this money. So he wouldn't show her the offshore accounts like ever, but he did show her like his Chase bank. And she said it looked like he had a lot in his account. Now, as you watch the series, you find out that she learned a very valuable lesson, which is the Google image search. I think that's what it's called, where you can like trace where an image came from, and you will see a lot of people online kind of stunting, bragging that they have things that they don't, or this is their house, or this is that and the other thing, from reverse Google image searches. So they just take images from online and make it look like it's their shit, which is ultimately what he did with the money situation. As she's explaining all these broken promises and all these things, it does seem like just a very, very cruel thing to do to someone. It would take a certain type of very sick person to get someone all excited for things only to them let them down, only knowing that it was never going to happen, knowing that it was all for naught. Care Bear, what was your comment? Sorry, I'll scroll up and see your comment. Legion has, I found it. Okay. So as Care Bear says, Legion, so the ex, okay. So ultimately, she loses the baby. The house never comes to fruition. I'll give you like the Cliff's Notes because you can watch the whole 5 hour and we can talk more about it as you guys post in the comment section. But she decides like, okay, let's just hold off on buying the house thing. Let's just get a house. Let's move it, like rent, I think. And in the new year of January, I think 2021, they end up getting married, unfortunately. And it's she's like, because he had been talking about this ring he was going to get her, and he did give her a ring, and he bought her like some shoes and purses. So there were things that I guess he did follow through with, and he was paying the bill. So she's like, you kind of weigh, what will I put up with and what won't I put up with? And I think sometimes, looking back, we're like, oh my God, why did I put up with any of that? But I think she was still maybe not accepting the reality of it, obviously, and also not knowing her worth in this, and that she deserved so much more. So they get married. She finds out that he's, shocker, on a Facebook Messenger. If you are cheating on Facebook Messenger, you need to get your dick taken away, because that is some, no offense to boomer dads, but that is some boomer dad shit. Okay. They're the only ones who get catfished and cheat on Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger is to talk to your friends from high school and family members. That's what Facebook Messenger is for. I mean, can you Snapchat cheat at least? At least it's a little more progressive. I don't know. So he's talking to ladies on Facebook Messenger, but she again talks herself out of leaving him for it, because she's like, well, maybe it's just like he hasn't like met up with the ladies. It's like emotional cheating with this woman. In the meantime, they're married, or they get married. They immediately, obviously, she says, once they get married, it gets even worse, which, yeah. He starts getting really jealous, and he starts making up stories like, oh yeah, your ex-boyfriend came over here and he was driving a Charger and he was looking for you. And she's like, what? Because she early in the relationship had told him that she dated someone she worked with. So he was like, yeah. She's like, what do you look like? He's like, I don't know, like a man. She's like, what kind of man? You like a regular man? So she said he was just very basic description. And she never found any proof that the ex ever came to the door, but he was just like looking for ways to kind of control her, mind fuck her. She found the cheating stuff. They weren't having sex anymore, not because of her, but because of him. He had kind of pulled away sexually. So yeah, there was some lady named Peaches, like Ryan said. There's a Peaches in the mix. Later, she finds like prostitutes that ultimately he had went to, looking for handies. Sir, give yourself a handy. Okay, if you are paying for handies, you definitely don't have an offshore account, because that is a bad investment. That is no. If you mouth or any that. No, that seems crazy, but a hand job, that is, you could probably get a free one. You could probably go to a bathroom and get a free one. I don't think now I would charge for hand jobs. I definitely would. But you could get one of them like rubber hands, and it could be a job yourself. I just don't think you should be paying for that sort of thing. But sure enough, he was paying for the handies. And this is down the road. And so ultimately she starts looking more and more into this man's lies, because he gets hurt. He says, old football injury, old arena football injury. And she's like, oh yeah, he's just always bringing up arena football, always bringing up his money. She said he was a big bragger. And so he starts having issues, I think, with his knee, to the point where it's debilitating. He says he's taking a new job. They're the ketchup people, the condiment people, the mustard men are not treating him the way he wants to be treated. And then before long, he's bedridden with pain, and he's in the guest bedroom because they're not doing it. They're not on the same page. And he's in so much pain. He's taking her pain medication from when she had her miscarriage. And he's only drinking Powerade. And she said he is dropping weight. He was a 3X and he was a 2X. By the end of the story, the guy was a schmedium. Okay. He was like one of them tight, fit schmediums. So those are like elastic t-shirts they now sell for men. And you're like, what's happening here? So he's stuck in this bedroom. He is, he's Howard Hughesing it in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. He's urinating in bottles and leaving it around the bedroom. In the meantime, she's now on a mission. There's been so many lies, so many cheating. They tried to go to marriage therapy. There was a pastor and a pastor's wife, and the pastor and the pastor's wife basically said, if you guys would have came to us before you got married, we would have told you, don't get married. The pastor and the pastor's wife are like, why won't you show your proof of funds? Why won't you show your wife your accounts? And he's like, I had an uncle once that told me, you don't show women the money. Your wife, sir, who's supposed to be the most important person in your life? So all this stuff finally starts. She's like, oh, my life was just going down the tubes. Then she wants to look for a new job. She wants to make more money, because she's like, listen, he gets her into a Nissan, I believe, finally. and it's a Nissan. She said she really couldn't afford on her own. So she's like, listen, she starts doing a thing that women do when you're in situations like this. You start like, okay, I got to get out. You need an exit plan. Her exit plan is I got to get a job. I got to make more money so that I can afford this stuff, this life without him. And so she applies. I think she did previously work for the police, like state troopers. I forget. Feel free to put in the comments if you remember, but it's, I think, some kind of agency of law enforcement. And then she was applying for a different job. She was applying for lots of jobs, but she found one that was a lot better pay, but she needed a background check for her and her spouse. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When they get married, in their little court ceremony, he writes down his social security number, memorizes it, and she did a background check because there's too many red flags. But she married him, but while you're getting married, you remember to like take down, because I mean, this is just, what a problem. You as you're getting married, you're like, I better take a mental note of this social security number because I don't trust this dude. And I wonder how many women have been in a situation like this. Okay. So thank you, Lee, for the first super sticker of the live. I appreciate you. So she takes a mental note, runs a background check, and I don't think anything really comes up. So they're married for a while. Things are not going well. She finds out that the social security number he put on their marriage license is not correct. She gets his real social security number, I believe, through having to do this stuff for her new job. Now he's trying to talk her out of the new job. He's not really supportive of this. I'm sure he doesn't want his real social security number out there. Because when she finds out his real social security number, oh my gosh, things are coming up. She's able to see where this man has lived. And this man said he lived in California. It turns out this man has never lived in California. There is no record from his background check that he has ever even entered the state of California. Not that you would see that, but that he's ever lived there, owned a home. But he's like, no, I showed you the home. I showed you pictures. It's like, yeah, but all she had to do was Google reverse image search that. And you'd see that wasn't your house there. So, oh God, it's just like, it's so much. It's definitely worth the listen. So, excuse me. She finds out that he is originally maybe from Philly, but how he said he came from California is a complete lie. There's record of him living, I think, in Georgia, maybe like Augusta, Georgia. That's because she's like, man, he really knows Georgia well, even though he's relocating here. And he's like, oh yeah, I think my sister spent some time here or something. He had some excuse for that because he said he had family in the area. But turns out, no, it's because the dude lived there, had a whole ex-wife there, had a life there. He had never been to California. She called San Diego State University. They're like, we don't know this man. She asked him, like, are you sure you went to San Diego State? He's like, yeah. Well, there's no record of it. Well, he says, my dad paid for me to be a private citizen. I'm sorry, what? I've never even heard of this in my life. He says his dad, who he said was in law enforcement, paid for him to be a private citizen so no one could search him. She's like, so when you're on the arena football team, you're playing football, no one could search? No one could pull you up on a roster because you're unsearchable? He's like, why are you asking this? Just all these things are just cuckoo and getting crazier and crazier and crazier to the point where she's like, this man is a whole lie. He's the biggest liar that ever lied. He's the lyingest liar that ever lied. All right. Ultimately, she reaches out she finds, he says he has one ex-wife, but I think he's got a couple. She finds the one who he said she cheated on him. And that's why he left the marriage in California and left her in California in arena football behind and just wanted to be the VP of mustard now. He was good, reaches out to her. She's like, hello. And she says, hi, I'm Legion's wife. And the lady tells her, just know that everything that man says is a lie. Basically confirms all of her biggest fears that who the fuck did she marry? She has no idea who this man is. This lady said, I want nothing to do with this dude. Please don't tell him you're talking to me. He doesn't know where I am. He lied about everything. You guys, he lied not only about his job, his finances, what he was going to buy her, cheating. He lied about dead people. He said his ex-wife had 2 children that were his stepchildren while they were married, who he still, talked to. And she said he would have whole conversations with on the phone. Again, she'd hear him talking like, hello, stepchild, how are you? Is your mom still a bitch? Bye. But he wouldn't, necessarily hear them talking. He said that the daughter of his ex-wife passed away from the COVID-19 and asked reesateesa, can we send $2,000 to help? And she's like, of course, of course, of course. The lady never died. The daughter never died. He also said he lost a grandma and I think an uncle in the Panakuchen. She goes to confirm, finally, she also gets a hold of his cousin. A cousin actually of his gets a hold of her. And she's like, no, our grandma died in 2008 and our uncle died a long time ago too. He even drove her past what he said was the grave site of the grandma. Well, you know why? He knew, and I guess it was like a family grave site. Like it just had what would be his last name. But it didn't have like specifics. So it was like, I guess you just throw the whole family in there. I don't know how it works. Well, she finds out he used to work at that graveyard. So of course he knew that grave existed, but that was not, I don't think, his family. So he's lying about people dying. He's also saying he's got to send shoes to some little lady named Egypt, a little girl, like a niece or something. And the brother's like, I don't have a daughter named Egypt. Everything he says is a lie. She comes to find that the siblings he says he don't have no siblings like that. He's got a twin brother he never tells her about who lives in Tennessee and is like a VP of ketchup and mustard or something good, is married and killing it. So basically what he did essentially is probably just take the life of his twin brother that's successful and try to make it his. Now, when she finally kicked him out, all this had come out. No San Diego State. Not all of the family stuff per se, but talking to the ex-wife, it was just the cheating, the everything. She's like, get out right now. It's the end of you and me and it's too late and I can't wait for you to be gone because I know about her and you're never going to buy me a house or the BMW with the cognac, interior, whatever. And he's like, no, because he can barely walk at this point. She's like, go to the doctor. He's like, I did. He never did. She still does. We still don't know what's going on with this man's knee, but he was bedridden and taking her pain medication and only drinking Powerade, dropping weight like he's on Ozempic and peeing in bottles like he's damn Howard Hughes. So she kicks him out. He calls who he says is his aunt. And she's like, you got to go. You got to go. She said she's never in her life felt like she was going to hurt a person, but she's like, he might die. I don't know, but this man, I might have to murder. This might be snapped. She's been pushed to the brink. She's been understanding, making excuses for this man. And now she's like, you got to go. So she finally gets him out of the house. She has to file for the divorce. He drives all the way back to Philly to be with family members. This is when family members start reaching out to her. So now he's back on the East Coast and his cousin is like, hey, I'm Legion's cousin. Legion is saying that you are divorcing him and that you cheated on him and he caught you cheating on him with a guy named Bradley. So Legion essentially was trying to set up reesateesa, who works for a law enforcement agency, to say that she was having an affair, I believe, with maybe one of the officers there. And the family was like, we're going to have to double check this because the cousin said he's a liar. No one really has a relationship with this man. He's a liar. He came back here. He tried to mooch off some of the family and they were like, we don't like you like that. So then the cousin starts spilling out the family members. No, he doesn't have a sister. No, he doesn't have a sister named that. No, he's got a twin brother. And she's like, what? He's got this brother. They all hate him. Huh? Is that his aunt? That's not his aunt. People who she who he would refer to as his brother, I guess the ones that she did speak with, it was more of like, he's my brother, like he's my friend. Do you know what I mean? It was like, we're almost like family, but we're not, or something. I don't know. It was just like one thing after another that she is finding out. And it's so crazy. Oh, yay. My Nana and Papa are on the plane to come here. Just giving you live flight updates from the flight deck. So yeah, he's basically, like Yvonne said, he's couch surfing in Philly. And finally they're like, okay, bye. And he heads back to California. She gets him to sign the divorce paper. She realizes he's living out of his damn car because the grift is over. The couch surfing is over. The squatting is over because she's like, we're done. She fills out the divorce stuff, and in there she puts that everything he left in the house is his. And she said, here's another red flag. A twin brother that hated him. That's a red flag. If you got a twin who hates you, not a good sign. What does that say about your character, as Lisa Vanderpump would say? So, I mean, here's the biggest red flag of them all. I'm going to tell you guys, and if this applies to someone out there, I apologize. No offense, all offense. This man had WWE wrestling belts. What? Okay. Now, my husband has some things I don't understand, and I do things he doesn't understand. We have different hobbies. But if my grown man husband's walking around with another man's a championship belt of a sport he doesn't play, I'm gonna go. No, we got to get you to the hospital. You got to get to the hospital, sir. This isn't good. So he's collecting WWE belts. So he's collecting the knockoff ones, no less, the replica WWE belts of achievements of other men who are doing choreographed fighting. I mean, I liked the WW. I mean, you can like the WW. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a entertainment. It's a sport. It's well choreographed and very interesting fictional characters. But I feel like once you're over 11, you probably shouldn't have What are you going to do with the belts? Do you wear them? Do you just put them on a wall? I mean, I got some weird shit, I'll be honest. But that seemed to me to be a red flag. Okay. I have like a veto medallion for Big Brother, and I've never played Big Brother. But I'm a fan, and I talk about it on here, but I'm not going to like have multiple I don't know, it just seems a little weird. He had Jordans, he had Cole Haan shoes, which I was like, that's not really a flex because aren't those at like Macy's or something? So yes, wrestling is just a soap opera for men. You can't change that. It is. Okay, so red flag, Becktown. Red flag. Yes. All right. So he signs a divorce paper. So she's keeping everything. She's getting a new place. She's about to move, start her life over. It's been such a mess. She's come clean to her family about all this. She's embarrassed. She's just like, oh, what the fudge? This all happened from March 2020, I believe, to like June or August 2021. So in such a short span of time, all these crazy things happened, and she just wants this man out of her life. Well, turns out he couldn't find anyone else to squat off of. He even hit up another gentleman friend and was like, can I stay with you? And that gentleman friend reached out to reesateesa, and she said, I wouldn't trust him in my home with your family. So ultimately, he calls her and he's like, that's it. You have to let me back in the house. I got nowhere to go. My knee hurts. All my Powerade bottles are filled. She said when she saw him to sign the divorce papers, he smelled like the garbage man. He smelled like expired condiments, like old mayonnaise. His balls had not been washed since she last saw him. He was dirts McGurts. And she reached out to the police about it, and they were like, no, sorry. You guys are technically, I think, still married or something, because the divorce paperwork hadn't been fully processed. It takes a while. So if he does come home, to your townhome? You have to, yeah, he can stay there. And she's like, what? So there was, even after the fact and after doing the divorce and after kicking him out and all this stuff, he still tried to get back in. And she was working with the police. I mean, you think that the marriage would be null and void knowing that he used an incorrect social security number on the certificate. Some of the information was fraudulent. You'd think, but no. I was like, ooh, that is scary. That is scary. So yeah, WWE belts and fake phone calls. So every phone call he was making, pretending to talk to his brother who hates him every morning, he's talking to himself. She said he talked for hours. Oh no. Oh no. It was, you guys, it was so crazy. So ultimately, he comes back to Georgia, like, let me in his broke down Taurus with his stinky balls. But she had been talking to the police, and one of the police officers, I guess, ran his more information about him, finds out he's got a warrant. So when he arrives, he's like, call me, we'll come get him. They pick him up. He gets arrested. They say, you want to talk to him? She says, sure. They got the body cams on. And I guess he's like, I'll leave you alone. I'm never going to talk to you again. I just want to wash my balls. And she's like, don't leave me alone. Like, you lied. You're a liar. He's like, I'm not a liar. But then you think it's over. But then apparently the warrant was expired. A warrant can get expired? Aren't you just wanted forever? Like, wanted, dead or alive, Bon Jovi. I don't know. I thought, okay, I guess it expired. So they let him out. Days before she's set to move into this new place. So once she gets in the new place, I guess it's like double jeopardy. I don't even know what that means. But she doesn't have to let him in the new house. It's just the shared residence that they had while they're still technically married. Luckily, the divorce paperwork, he says he's gonna, head back. The divorce paperwork goes through. She stays with her aunt the night before she's supposed to move. That day, she heads to her old townhouse, tells the movers, there's extra money in it for you if you pack me up really fast. This is a domestic situation. Gets the hell out of there and starts her life fresh. She said she got rid of everything of this man's. She either donated it to like a domestic violence organization. Some of it she probably sold. I don't know what she did with all the stuff, but you guys, it's, when I tell you I was invested, I was so invested. My pantry is beautiful right now. It's so organized because of reesateesa. However, it doesn't end there. He tries to come back. She moves, all that stuff. She finds out he's reaching out to family members of hers. Months pass, maybe, I don't know. He starts reaching out to more of her people, trying to get in touch with her. He reaches out to, like, I think the employer, trying to get her new address and things. So she basically, her friend who's helped her from day one, like, shout out to a good lady friend, there's nothing better. She says, you send him this text or this, because she changed her number. So on Facebook Messenger, he's bugging her. And she says, you don't, because he wants some, like, because she had his Taurus, she had it towed once he was arrested, because I think he didn't even make the payments on the Taurus. I mean, and I guess it was a souped up Taurus, but how much can a Taurus be? I mean, it's a rough economy, but sir, you get the offshore accounts. Obviously, there's no offshore accounts. Can't even afford the Taurus. So they took everything in the car, and so he was just left with the clothes on his back. So everything that he left in the house when she kicked him out, she put in the divorce papers that would be hers, and that he left with the things that he was going to take. And then the car situation. So he wanted like some tote bags or something back. And she was like, I don't have your stuff. Don't contact me ever again, or we will find ourselves me getting a restraining order against you. And I'm like, This story, yeah, the car, she called to have it repoed, yeah, because he was obviously behind in payments on the Taurus. Oh my gosh. The 45 phone calls, yes, try talking for 5 minutes to no one. I mean, that's insane that he was talking to all these people. So she posts all these videos, they go viral, and then people are like, oh, and yet let's not forget this. Ash, thank you. He was telling family members they had the baby. And that this aunt, who wasn't really his aunt, the one that was like, you need to leave the house when she kicked him out, and the one he was trying to, maybe be able to stay with her, she contacted reesateesa and told her, well, what about the baby? What about the kid? He said, he keeps making excuses why I can't see the kid. And she's like, we didn't have a kid. I lost the baby early in my pregnancy. And she's like, what? Yeah. And he was also telling his family that she was keeping. So not only did he tell this fake aunt who was just like his mom's best friend, his mom who had passed away years back, but he also told the family members who he first tried to lie to when he first went to Philly after she kicked him out. He tried to tell them that she's trying to withhold the kid from me, but I'm going to take the kid. And they were like, you don't have a kid, dude? She's like, no. So, I mean, just a really sick individual. So she puts all this out. It goes viral. People start speculating, who is this man? Who is this Legion? You guys, they found out who he was, and some TikTok creators, I guess, put him out on blast, and reesateesa wasn't super happy about it because she had changed everyone's names. And, you can put two and two together, but she was hoping, she said it was a female creator on TikTok, I believe, who exposed who he was. And she wishes that female creator would have reached out to her before putting his information out. Well, since then, allegedly, Legion has his own TikTok. And not only does he have a TikTok, but another ex-wife came out. Like, things are coming. Like, this story is continuing to develop as we go on. Now, reesateesa has done lives since then. I watched a couple of those. She's answering questions to the people who are very invested in this story because it's extremely interesting, and she is a great storyteller, like Celia was saying earlier. And she's getting, this woman's going to get reached out to by, I'm sure she's already talking to so many people to tell the story, whether to bring it to the small screen, the big screen, both. She says she's thought about a book. There will be other opportunities for her regarding this crazy story. But Legion has a TikTok, okay? And you guys, this is, this is the kind of thing. Oops, why did I stop presenting that? So this is, let's see if I can get a picture of this man. I was curious, I was nosy. I'm like, who is this man? I need to know who this gentleman is. And he's not very gentlemanly. But let's see, do I have here's a creator on TikTok that I found. Here's kind of like a picture of him, and this is a generous picture because this man is not I don't think he's much to look at, but once I checked out his TikToks and stuff, let me show you. This is the kind of man we're dealing with. This is one of Legion's hot takes on TikTok. He has come out and been like, she's lying, she's a liar, and it's like, but where's your receipts? Because she has a lot of receipts, and a lot of people are coming out co-signing what she says. But here's some of the things he finds necessary to post on TikTok. Check this out.
What's up, everybody? Out here this morning doing my thug fizzle, I guess you want to say. Again, it's your guy, it's the relationship guy. I just want to drop a quick one to you real quick this morning. Ladies, if you on your period, that's okay. If you're emotional through your period, that's okay. But the last thing you should do is make your man feel it. A lot of women make the mistake and they don't understand when they have a bad attitude. If you have a bad attitude, stay peaceful, stay quiet, stay humble. You can drive a man crazy with a bad attitude because you're on your period and you're just not feeling 100%. But your period does not give you an excuse to act like a butthole. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. And again, it's your boy, the relationship guy, dropping these tips to you, man. Y'all enjoy.
So that's Legion, allegedly, who's calling himself the relationship guy, the alleged pathological liar, telling women, if you get your periods, it's okay. Thank you for allowing my menstruation. But don't be a bitch. Don't Don't, but if you could keep it on the DL, if you could just like bleed in silence, that would be great. If you're cramping, we don't want to hear about it. This is, he had a Nokia phone. I know. And this man told us this while wearing a Little House on the Prairie bonnet. You can't tell me nothing when your hat is this.
What's up, everybody out here this morning doing my thug fizzle, I guess you want to say. Again, it's your guy, it's the relationship guy. I just want to drop a quick one to you real quick this morning. Ladies, if you on your period, that's okay. If you're emotional through your period, that's okay. But the last thing you should do is make your man feel it. A lot of women make the mistake and
I'm going to make you feel it, taste it, see it, smell it. I don't give a fuck because we don't get days off for our periods. Nobody gives a shit. They just want us to go through life every day like we're not bleeding profusely and in pain. So go fuck yourself, Legion, with all of that. That alone made me think this man is a liar. This man is a whole lie. I don't like this man. This man needs to go to hell. Screw you, sir. I am going to make you feel my pain. The fact that we even exist and are expected to perform on the same level we perform on every day, even though every month we're dealt this horrible bloody hand. Screw you, sir. Screw you. This made me more mad than any of the lies he told. I was like, how dare you even have commentary on menstruation? Don't make us feel it. He better be trolling. Well, clearly, this was the worst that I think he's done, is to say, don't make the men feel it. Sir, I'm going to transfer my period to you. I'm going to make sure you menstruate for the rest of your life. If my witchy woman powers become powerful enough, you're the first dude who's going to feel it. There's not going to be enough Tampax in the world to suck up what I'm going to send your way. I was so upset with this dude. It was so ridiculous. Okay. Now, maybe a lot of you, a lot of people are fact checking reesateesa's story. And some people are, they're a little sus with her. And, yeah, I say critical thinking, question everything. Sure. But if you want to see some allegiance proof, here is something Legion put on his TikTok, allegedly, to disprove reesateesa. I think this is part of his receipts.
That evil Risa is a liar. Don't believe nothing she said. I will walk right through the fire. I got God with me each day. Don't believe reesateesa. Don't believe reesateesa. Don't believe.
He put the camera on what looks like a towel. Maybe he took a shower, finally washed his balls. Congratulations, Legion. But he was like, don't believe reesateesa. She's a liar. That's the kind of content you're going to get from Legion. I was like, get this man to the hospital. What is going on? Steven with the super chat saying you can't spell menstruation without men. And a man made the spelling of that word, most likely. So it makes sense. The towel was musty, Ryan. That was a dirty, just musty, just so much ball stuff. That song is a flop. I know, KB. This is what this man is putting out on his Tiggy Tuggy. Let's just listen to it one more time because it's so bad. Don't believe. I feel like I want to remix it. The reesateesa. Takes a lot.
That evil Risa is a liar. Don't believe nothing she said. I will walk right through the fire. I got God with me each day. Don't believe reesateesa.
Don't believe reesateesa. We need to get Christina Aguilera on that. Don't believe reesateesa. It's so funny. And 315 of the devil's best friends liked that video, which is probably just 315 of Legion's sock accounts, allegedly. But how come the worst dudes in the world, the worst people are always like, I got God on my side? No, you don't. Prove it. I'm going to need the receipts on that. I'm going to need the receipts on that. Speaking of receipts, he's using his, you guys, almost the update on Legion is kind of the best part because you are only proving reesateesa's point. So he's providing receipts. Here's this, shout out to this creator, Joy, I think her name is. She has a big following on the TikTok. She's been posting some of the stuff. Here, she's reposting what he's posting as proof. So if you go to his stories, here's one. I went to his, okay? Here's his proof, okay? Someone says in the comments, sir, we need proof of funds, because that's going to be the ongoing joke, because the guy can't show proof of funds, and never, they had all these houses that allegedly they were going to get, and he was going to pay for it with cash, like I said, but he would never show proof of funds. And unfortunately, I mean, not, I guess, unfortunately, but they never, fortunately, they never got into a home situation together, because that would have been harder for her to get out had she actually had a kid with him or a home or things. The divorce wouldn't have been as simple, I think, even though it wasn't fully simple. So someone says, sir, we're going to need proof of funds. So he posts this from the Cayman National Bank, I guess the Cayman Islands, where everybody pretends to have. He just saw a couple movies. Like, this guy is not smart. It's like the dumbest catfish in the world. So here he is. This is his TikTok, allegedly. He said, this is from when she said, I ain't got no money when I applied for a house for her. She lied to y'all. This is the exact offshore account from when I applied to buy a house with her. Look at the date, April 2020. All right, let's look at some of these. So this is the Cayman National Bank, Cayman Islands. Ooh, okay. Checking account. And we know how good I am at math. Not good. But this is hotel. Okay. Doesn't say which hotel. Payroll deposit, $695.36. Okay. Then he's got a MasterCard web bill. It's a withdrawal of $200. Well, why is the hotel giving you $694? And which hotel is this? Is this a Hilton? Are you sliving? Okay. And then MasterCard, they took $200 out. That's like a broke bitch payment. If you're paying $200 to the master, that's what I pay. Like, come on. Then he's got a ATM withdrawal for $21.25. Who the frick? What? What kind of, why in your big funds, your Cayman Island funds, you're like, I just need $21.25. What is this? It's a Wonderful Life. You know that scene where George Bailey, the banks are crashing and George Bailey is about to go on his honeymoon. And he has to use his honeymoon cash to give people money, because they're like, we want to pull all our money. And then there's one lady who's like, I just want $17.50. And he's like, oh, bless your heart, $17.50 or something. That's what he did. He was like, now I know I have hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for a $700,000 to a $900,000 house with cash, but I just need $21.25 out of this account. What? In 25 cents? And does your big rich Cayman Island account, are they really going to charge you an ATM fee if you don't use one of their Cayman Islands ATM? And the ATM is giving change? It's just, okay. So, and then electronics, $2.99. What electronics are you buying for $2.99? Is like those knockoff AirPod thingies? Okay. Then we have a web bill and AMX payment for $300. Like, supermarket. You guys, he went to the supermarket and spent $29.08. Okay, he got some chicken nuggets, because when she ran into him and he had the stinky balls and she wanted him to sign the paper, she said he was so skinny and so smelly. I say, here's $5. Go buy some chicken nuggets. And he was like, thank you. And he's hitting her up for money after the fact. I mean, it is a whole story. There he is with the electronics again. What did he spend? Oh, they gave him the $2.99 back. So whatever he bought for $2.99 from electronics, he also, they gave it back to him. They were like, oh, sorry, maybe stolen identity. I don't know. Then he got another payroll deposit from a hotel. Why is he getting that? Okay. $50 for web from transfer from savings. Why would you have to if you got it like that, you're not transferring 50 here, 50 there, maybe 50 G's, not $50, broke man. Then insurance. I mean, it's just pretty clear that these are not real screenshots, but I think it's very funny that he's like, boom, roasted, gotcha. Look at these. Hello. Okay. Would a poor man make a $2.99 purchase for electronics and then get that $2.99 back a couple days later? Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. It's just the accounts don't look like this. You don't got to work at a bank to know that this is some bullshit right here. Okay. Let's see what other facts he's dropping. So here's another screenshot. I guess this is maybe one of the ones he showed her. His net worth, you guys. I mean, clearly he has a picture that says net worth $1,256,382.23. Boom, proved it. Credit cards, negative $14,907.47. So is that available credit then in his credit cards that he's got? Investments, he's invested $914,515.16, but he can't get any chicken nuggies. And then loans, $0. He don't need loans. He pays cash money. Property, $331,505.02. What did he own? Then go to that house. Why are you trying to go to the rented townhome that was reesateesa's in the first place if you have it like that? Again, this is what he's putting out on social media to prove. Okay, here is his approval letter. He's saying for his home loan application. Now reesateesa says she saw his letter, the realtor, he gave them a pre-approval. It says, "Dear Mr. McCoy, we are delighted to inform you that your recent application for a home loan with Chase Bank has been approved. Congratulations, buddy. Significant steps toward home ownership. After careful review of your application and financial details, we are pleased to offer you the loan amount of $700,000 for the purchase of a home. We understand that finding the right property is an important decision, but you're going to have to show proof of funds, and we are committed to assisting you throughout this process. Your approval is a testament to your sound financial." Is this a love letter? I feel like my approval letter for my mortgage, they did not give me this many compliments. We are confident that you will manage your mortgage responsibly as you prepare to embark on this exciting journey. Please feel free to act. Oh God. So who knows if this is really true? This is probably just another screenshot because, she also found out that the job he had was not true. He was never the VP of nothing. When she wanted to see the office, it was like, "Oh, I get Roger, the security guy isn't there. We can't get into the office. Sorry." And she found paperwork that he had left after she kicked him out of. Turns out that he had been arrested multiple times. Some of his arrests included, I think he said they were teenagers, but he wasn't. He pretended to be a police officer, so impersonating a police officer, which I believe is a felony, she said. So all the times he said he was voting or they were going to travel overseas, she said he couldn't have because when he came home one day and told her like, "Oh, you want to go to London? You want to go to Paris? Well, I booked something in London." He said he booked this fancy hotel. They were going to go get their passports updated. Shocker. That never happened. It fell through. She came to find this paperwork showing that he was a whole ass felon, allegedly, and had some other arrests. And that's, so that wouldn't have been possible. And he knew that. And that he also had to do this thing where you report to jail on the weekends and you like report on a Friday and you check out on a Sunday. And she confronted him about that. He was like, "I don't think so." She's like, "Well, yeah, it like says you have to do that." "Nah, I don't think I have to do that." She's like, "It's literally on your record." Yes, all printers know. This man could print out a screenshot, but none of it, unfortunately for him, was factual. Here's another thing he posted on his TikTok. Legion said, "There are too many comments. It's too much. If you guys keep commenting mean things on my posts, I'm going to stop posting." Don't threaten us with a good time, Legion. "I'm going to stop posting. Then your little lies have no place to you have no place to take it out on. Your choice. I think people just do it on their own social media platforms like I'm doing right now. They just go to TikTok. They don't need your comment section. That's just like an added bonus. Yes, Mims, I watched all 60 hours of this story. I cleaned my pantry and all my cabinets in the kitchen. Like I watched it all. Yes, Cammy, jail, weekend, hotel. That's where he was. Maybe that's the hotel charge. Okay, so he's there going, you guys better knock it off, or I'm gonna take away my TikTok, sir. Please do. Okay, there are many other things we can laugh at. He also is posting, just in case any women here are interested in becoming the next victim. All right. Where's the formal letterhead from Chase? No date, no address, phone number. Very interesting. Oh, Deborah says when Jeffrey Epstein goes home for the weekend, Legion comes to jail. Look at Deborah. So he's posting his requirements in a female. Okay. He says, not lazy. Okay. Well, you would think you would want a lazy person because reesateesa just exposed your ass by doing all the research you needed to do. So I would put, I need a lazy girl who's not going to look into my shit. He says, good cook, because he can't survive just on Powerade. He said, cares for the man when their knee hurts and he won't go to the doctor. Is a woman of her word. Okay. Knows her place as a woman in God's kingdom. All right. What in the misandry is going on over here? All right. This is some incel Olympic type talk. Knows her place as a woman in God's kingdom. Please explain to me what God's kingdom says a woman's place is. A big booty. You got to be a big booty, Judy. Not a liar, because he's already got that on lock. No one else can lie except for him. Breath don't stink in the morning. Well, good luck, sir. Don't need to buy Tums for her. What? What? You can't just hate on the heartburn. Sometimes you just have it. Mims says his tongue must be worth its weight in gold because how are all these women fooled? I explained it at the beginning of the video, Mims. It unfortunately is, we're gonna chalk it up to the game, to the life game, and what women are told. Andrew Gabor, hello, my friend Andrew Gabor says, I don't believe this story after the second test drive. If I wasn't riding off the lot, then we're done. There was a lot of mental gymnastics and things that looking at it as an outsider, you'd be like, red flag, red flag. If I'm not driving the BMW and the cognac or whatever it is, interior, I'm not doing it. Mim says, Gabor ain't in your chat when he ain't called me back. Well, don't fight, boys. Don't fight, little guys. Don't fight, friends. Please, please. Be men in God's kingdom. Okay. But Gabor, if you want to, feel free to call him back, but it's okay. So my favorite is don't need to buy Tums for her heartburn. I think he means already have Tums. Have Tums on hand. He says healthy cholesterol. Does this man, okay, did I upload the other video? Let me pull up a picture. This does not look like a man with healthy cholesterol because it doesn't just look like he's healthy in general if he's spreading all these toxic lies, allegedly. Okay, let's where is a better shot of our Legion guy? Maybe I have it on my desktop here, I think. This man is, I cannot believe he's even put stuff out there. I mean, this has got to be like satire. So it says, healthy cholesterol won't kill my baby. That's unnecessary. Won't eat junk food with my baby in the womb. Okay. Now, this is the man who wants all this. Even if we didn't know all of the lies that he allegedly told, you're not getting anything. No, I'm going to have all the heartburn. If I'm laying next to him, I'm going to have my period all over him and I'm going to have heartburn city. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is what this guy is saying. No high cholesterol. It better. No junk food. I mean, can't buy, well, because he can't afford it, Kimberly, right? Can't buy Tums for her heartburn, but he was happy to take her prescription for his knee. The math ain't mathing. Oh my gosh, this is just, it writes itself. Yeah, allegedly there's like speculation on, his health status, and who knows what he's got, but you can't really believe him either because he's proven himself to just lie time and time again. So basically his TikTok is just a plethora of comedy. Okay, so here's one of his posts. He's using the Notes app, guys. Again, not only will he tell you this, I don't even know if this is English here, but he says, I told Reesa my past and I said, what if I was lying about everything? She just laughed and said, I'm funny. She never accepted me. All of the women are the same, all of them. I wish I was gay. The gay men don't want you, sir. Believe me. If you're doing this to the ladies, the gays don't want you. You're not invited to that party. I went to gay groups with men. What? I'm sorry, what? What? With HIV, and I tried to love them, but I couldn't. What? I couldn't force attraction to love men, but I am attracted to females. I imagine life with a man, but I can't get off. I'm sorry. What? What is happening? What is happening? Ryan says, as a gay, Andrew Gabor, shots fired. There is a fight in the chat. Two of my faves. Andrew Gabor said, Joleen, I called Mims back. He didn't answer. Mims, are you lying on Andrew Gabor? Because Andrew Gabor does not deserve that kind of disrespect. I love both of you. Who is telling the truth? Okay, who's the reesateesa in this situation, and who's the legion? Who's the liar? We just need to change the whole liar is now legion. Be like, he's a legion. You are a legion. Oh my goodness. So he's telling us that he tried. He wanted to love men, but he couldn't get off. Uh-huh. That's an interesting thing. He also was posting that not only does he want to be gay, but he's going to be a gay homeowner, allegedly. Okay. He said, currently building my dream house after the world has tortured me for 3 days. Where was this house when you're in your Taurus, not washing your balls? He said, I kept it a secret because the devil works in silence. But you see, my God is an awesome God. God, he reigns. I'm telling you, the most messed up dudes are the ones that are always like, no, I speak to God. How come God only speaks to the cuckoo bananas people? Interesting. As his messenger, I am immensely rewarded. Come on this journey with me. Dream with Jerome. Come to light. So again, Google reverse image search, and you will find that there is another family who is building this beautiful home that Legion says, this is my house. Whose house? Not Legion's house. So here he is. He's like, look it. We got the walls up. Things are happening. I'm making moves. This dude is a whole sicko. And he's putting other people's, like, anyone could come forward and be like, I'm sorry, that's my house. Are you talking about the house from Richmond American Homes that is saying sold here? And you could just look this address up and find that your name is not on the deed. That it's not, you're not the property owner. But here he goes. He's still, I mean, we laugh, but this is some sick shit. Okay. Then he also, or another creator on TikTok posted his LinkedIn, and allegedly the condiment company was Diamond Crystal Brands. What do they make? Let's look that up. I didn't even see Diamond Crystal Brands. Okay. Oh, it's salt. It's kosher salt, I think. It's salt. He's a salt man. Okay. Baking salt, sea salt, pink salt, kosher salt, all the salts. He was the VP of salt, and now he's just salty. Forklift driver at Diamond Crystal Brands. So he just was the forklift, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he said he was the VP. So someone, I'm not picking a side for $1.99. I may be a woman and I may be bad at math, but $1.99 does not swing my time. You need to, whoever gives the most money, that's the side I'll take. Okay. Which I think should be everybody. That's how you should decide. That's how you should decide. But thank you for the super chats. But let's make it rain a little harder. It's a sprinkle. It's barely a sprinkle at this point. So he's a forklift driver. Now, in addition to reesateesa coming forward, another ex-wife has said, #MeToo. One that I don't know if she was mentioned in the story because I can't keep up. with all of these ex-wives. Let's listen to a little bit of what she had to say. She's on TikTok. So she came out. Another possible stepson to an ex-wife came out. Legion is very busy.
So I'm going to address the elephant in the room because it's been brought to my attention that my ex-husband is out here in these streets disturbing individuals as he always has, and I have been brought into this. Let me first say, this chapter of my life is closed. I have moved on. It's been more than 10 years. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm good. Okay? But after I say this, let's just leave it alone. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm not going to address it anymore because I have nothing to do with this. This is my past life. The book is closed. Okay? So Legion, as y'all call him, is a despicable, nasty, and vile individual. I fell for the trap over 10 years ago. Yes, he was charming, and I was broken mentally. Okay? Understand, self-love was not here at all for me to actually love myself enough to understand that this is not love. He manipulated me. He loved bombed me. All of the, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that and everything else. Yes, all of these things were said to me. Guess what? None of it happened. He's manipulative and he literally tried to ruin my life. He had family turn against me because he wanted to tell people lies about me and things of that nature. And unfortunately, he's very, very good at what he does. It took me many, many, many years to get past that. I have healed. And with this situation being brought back to me, it's like cutting me back open with a dagger because I was already healed up. The Band-Aid had been left. I've gotten married. I'm happy. Been good, right? But this man is a pathological liar. He gave up all types of promises, but to the cars and houses, just like Risa. But guess what? None of that ever came to pass, right? So I just need for people to know that this situation was traumatic as hell for me. And then I hear about, because I've not watched any of the videos, because for what? Like, it's not my business anymore. I feel bad for anybody that he comes into contact with, and I will tell any female that sees his picture, don't ever, just let it go. Because he needs some serious mental help, and he needs to be evaluated and be locked away. So that's what I will say. And as far as like me not filing for divorce, I didn't file for divorce because I was afraid for my life. I didn't want to be served. I didn't want to, in order for me to file, I would have to tell him where exactly I was. And I didn't want him to know that. So no, I absolutely was not filing because I was afraid at the time.
Mims asks, who pulled her into it? Well, that's what a lot of people are asking. They're like, I don't remember anyone pulling her into it. But I think maybe her argument is just seeing people who knew him, then they would know, once he was outed, then they would know that she was one of the exes. I don't know. Everyone's going to have their story to tell now. And, reesateesa has been, it's been called into question, why is she bringing this story up? And, I think there's something that's very cathartic and therapeutic and helpful to share stories that you have like this and situations so that men like this or people like this in general can't continue to take advantage of others. And as much as we laugh and we go, how did you not see that this red flag? I think we all can relate to being in a situation or putting up with things that we wish, hindsight, we had not put up with. So really, she's doing a public service to tell us, because as you can see, Legion, his thoughts on menstruation, his thoughts on what he wants in a woman, he's a whole problem. Now, this creator on TikTok, she found that, or she was reacting. The guy put it out. Legion's ex-wife, LaToya, her son was spilling the tea. And I was diving into this, but it's a whole, I'll have to do a separate video with the most recent updates. I just wanted to do like a introductory breakdown into this and see what develops over time, because, who knows, so many people are coming out of the woodwork with this, but I just wanted to be able to roast, react, and recap this, phenomenon, this story that has just taken over TikTok and pop culture in general, and that everybody's talking about this 500-hour, this 52-part TikTok series. So apparently this gentleman came forward, and I think he's living in his car. It's just, there is so much happening. Her son spoke out, married in the Netherlands, to confirm. Yeah, Reesa's been confirmed. Like, it's, I don't know. After you see this, how can you not believe reesateesa? Let's again get back to his thoughts on the period.
What's up, everybody out here this morning doing my thug fizzle, I guess you want to say. Again, it's your guy, it's the relationship guy. I just want to drop a quick one to you real quick this morning. Ladies, if you on your period, that's okay. If you're emotional through your period, that's okay. But the last thing you should do is make your man feel it. A lot of women make the mistake and they don't understand when they have a bad attitude. If you have a bad attitude, stay peaceful, stay quiet, stay humble. You can drive a man crazy with a bad attitude because you're on your period.
Thank you so much for allowing us to just, if you have your, it's okay. You can have it, but you better shut the fuck up. You better not make a noise. Don't bother a man with your bloody mess. Andrew Gabor, the super chat saying, Joleen, I got receipts. I'm going to have a 53-part series on Andrew Gabor and Mims, who really owes who a phone call back. And I'm going to be dropping that on TikTok. Make sure you follow me at Joleen Lunzer and bring more than $199 allegedly. All right. It's so, yes, Amy, it is so cringe, but again, he's got this hit song that's Reesa's a liar.
That evil Reesa is a liar. Don't believe nothing she said. I will walk right through the fire. I got God with me each day. Don't believe reesateesa. Don't believe reesateesa.
Don't believe the reesateesa. Linda says, I got up to part 4. Did he actually scam her out of money? I would say yes. Well, he scammed her out of time, which is the one thing money can't buy. But he also scammed her out of the $2,000 that he said was going to go to his dead stepdaughter who wasn't dead. So where's the 2K? Where's the 2K? Was it his money? Was it her money? I don't know. I'm not sure. But just insane story. Let me see if we have any more shots from his tiki-taki, but don't worry, he's building a new house. He's killing it. He's got Cayman Islands money. You all are just jealous. You're just jealous of him. Okay. Let's see. But yeah, his TikTok is a treasure trove of lies. He did some lives and he was reacting and some people screen grabbed him. And here's part of what he had to say about reesateesa as well. I just got the audio on this. Oops.
Out here in
Oops. Come back to me. Okay. Where did that go? All right. Okay. Well, now my blind ass can't find it. All right. Is it, let's see. Well, it's not the period one. Well, let's see what he says here. Let's just check out a couple of these, see what he says.
Yeah, what's going on?
Now, again, he's calling himself the relationship guy.
Everybody, relationship guy, what's going on? Relationships are hard work, but you got to put the time in and the effort. Sometimes people make the mistake by not putting the time or the effort in to their relationship, but they just want it to work.
Okay, let's go.
Relationships are hard work, but you got to put the time in and the effort. Sometimes people make the mistake by not putting the time or the effort in to their relationship, but they just want it to work and it all flows smoothly. Doesn't work like that. Relationships are work. You got to put the work in. Don't expect to reap the benefit if you're not going to put the time in. It's another message from your guy, the relationship guy. Everybody.
Like anyone wants to hear from him is message from your guy, the relationship guy. Okay, relationship guy. Here, it's a lot of work to lie. You got to keep up with the lies. You got to lie on top of the lie for the lie that the lie is lying. It's really tired. You might want to add a couple naps in there because you get tired. You can't keep your story straight. Maybe you want to keep a journal. Okay. Also, reesateesa kept an audio journal, which I thought was really smart because down the road, much easier to write the book. But also, she's got the 52-part series. She could just probably translate that, add some stuff. Poof, New York Times bestseller. Okay, what else is he saying?
Women will, some people say,
Okay. He's replying to someone in the comments who says, Reesa don't want nothing to do with you. She doesn't need closure. Leave her alone. Stop harassing her. To which Legion says,
closure ain't something they need, but it actually is something you need. You have to have it. Women will, some people say closure ain't something they need, but it actually is something you need. You have to have it. And some of y'all breaking up for the wrong reason. So really think about that before you just start, throwing everything out the window, because finding that special person is hard in this world today. So think about that before you just start running your mouth. Some people say closure ain't something they need, but it's actually.
He said, you need closure. So I think the closure was kicking you out and starting fresh and getting rid of everything that you touched, which is what she did. And then he's like, and don't just be breaking up for crazy reasons. Like, everything don't dump a man because everything he said was a lie, because he promised you the car and the house and the love, and you're cheating and you're getting handies from prostitute and you're out there with Peaches. Just because there's a Peaches who's giving me handies, that doesn't mean I don't love you. Don't know, because true love is finding a man who gets the right amount of hand jobs from someone else without you finding out. And if you find out and he says, hey, sorry, my knee's hurting, you don't just break up with someone because they pee in a bottle and keep it around the house. That's just basic man stuff. That's why we have a wiener, so we can put it in a bottle and put some pee in it. Don't break up with men for these dumb reasons. Okay, what is this? Okay, he posted a meme that said, it's some kissing. It says, men deserve to be spoiled and told how much you appreciate them on a daily. How do you expect to be treated like a queen if you treat him like a servant? Okay, pee in a bottle. I'm a pee in a bottle. You gotta hand job me the right way.
The guy that lets them. You see, if you always just let it slide when a girl does something to you that you're not actually okay with, well, that's how it happens. You just got taken advantage of. She cancels plans at the last minute. You don't say anything. She shows up late to the date. You don't say anything. She's on her phone on the date. You don't do anything. Even though it doesn't seem like a big deal, you just set the tone that going forward in this relationship, you can kind of do whatever you want, and I'm not really going to say anything or do anything about it. I'm that type of guy. You need to learn how to calmly but directly communicate when things are not okay with you, and then you'll never be taken advantage of ever again. Women will literally always take advantage of.
Yeah, bitches are horrible. They're crazy. And so he posted that audio of, I'm sure, like an Andrew Tate type incel misandrist person, and then a picture of himself looking real sad. He must have gotten to like a public restroom and he was like, selfie time, and then found some poetry from Andrew Tate and went to town on that. Let's see what he's saying here. Oh, he said, what did Peaches give you? Oh god, he posted about Peaches, guys. Oh, here we go. Let me send this one over. What did Peaches give you? Well, I just think she gave him maybe some gifts that last a lifetime. Maybe a little herps. I don't know. Okay. All right, let's open this, and then I gotta wrap it up because I gotta start getting the guest room ready for Nana. Gotta make sure Nana's real comfy. And look for some Nana content coming your way in the next week or two here. Okay, let's see. Man, I love when real effed up dudes want to give advice to women. Hey, bitches, don't be bleeding everywhere. Don't be on your phone. Pay attention to me. Treat me like a king in God's kingdom. If I lie to you, let it go, bitch. Oh my God. Okay, so here's him on his tiki-taki. And you guys are asking where you can find this. You can just oh yeah, not women, females. These females be out here just breathing and wanting respect and being like, don't cheat on me. These females are crazy. So here you can just find this on his TikTok. You can look up, I think it's Jerome McCoy. If you just look up reesateesa and you look, you just search that, you can find it, but I think it's Jerome McCoy or something McLiar is his name. So he's out here sharing screen shots of messages that they allegedly had. Okay, I gotta turn the sound off of this before they strike me. Okay, so then they said, what did Peaches give you? Okay, so he's showing the messages. I was just screen recording everything last night on the tiki-taki. I was like, what is going on. Linda D says it's on YouTube too. Also, if you want to watch the whole thing, I would go give reesateesa the view and give her the like. But there's also people on YouTube who have put it into one video, or they've broken into 2 videos. I think there's like a 5-hour and then a 2-hour. So she's telling him, you need to leave me alone. This is getting out of hand. And he says, you as my wife, you need to make this work for the sake of our angel baby, love, and the Bible. Oh, throwing the Bible in there. You are going to hell for divorce, sir. Oh my God. reesateesa, get that restraining order now. Get it yesterday. Jerome, I am going to say this calmly. Leave me the fuck alone or I will be contacting the authorities. He said, tell them people you lied. Tell them people you done lied on me. reesateesa's a liar. That's what he should have done that. Like, Sendevil's a liar. reesateesa's a truth teller. So he's just sharing these for what? I don't know. And then she said, what's wrong with you? And he said, repent, Satan, because you don't want to repent because it's 2024. Cat Williams says all liars will be exposed. So we were repenting. And now we need to be repenting. So repent is very 2023, but now repent is where you want to be.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves. All people that love the truth got to be happy if the truth coming out and lies is getting exposed. That's just what time it is. 2024, folks.
2024. She said, delete your account. He said, stop deflecting your lies onto me. She said, delete your account. He said, you ain't gonna stop. He didn't even get the full screen thing. He said, this is propaganda. They sending you money. Stopping a black brother's tooth. This is the system. You're going to sell out like that on a brother bee? And she said, goodbye, Jerome. Goodbye, Kyle. She gave him the goodbye, Kyle. And then he posted this. He should have tapped it and liked it. I mean, that's how you tell someone you got the message. So, I mean, clearly with all this proof he's showing, I mean, he is in the right, guys? Okay, but I thought there was a Peaches one too. Let me see if I can find that one. Oh, here, maybe. Nope, that's the ex-wife. Oh, Legion. He's going to write a liar book, I bet, which will be very, very interesting. How long before his account gets disabled by TikTok? Okay, here's him responding.
We went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. But my message to her is please stop lying to these people, and you can tell them the real reason I left you. You cheated. I caught you in the house with Bradley, and we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. But
so her and Bradley Cooper were in bed together. According to Legion, he said, stop lying. Stop lying. Stop. I don't know when the messages were. I honestly don't. I don't know if he has if there was a timestamp on that. He posted it 4 days ago. But yeah, I guess it would be because tell them people you lied. I mean, I would just like, if those are true screenshots, I wouldn't reply to this man anymore. I would file that restraining order. Not to tell reesateesa what to do, but oh my gosh. Indiana Girl Jewel says Legion and Tom S should become friends. Can you imagine these two having a combo? I mean, they need to have the MPD reality show, the Pathological Liar reality show starring Tom Sandy Butt and Legion. All right, you guys. So there's my roast and recap. I wanted to just get like an introduction, get you kind of up to date on what's going on because I know a lot of you have watched it. I wanted to give my reaction to those of you who maybe haven't watched it. You can check out reesateesa on TikTok. You can search it on YouTube too if you're looking to find it. But go show her some love. It's her story, her content, and we'll see what else develops out of this. And I'll come back with some more updates on this story. But it was so crazy. I got myself caught up over the weekend. And I thought, I really want to talk about this. I wanted to, but who knows? Maybe Legion will come forth with more receipts.
Receipts, proof, Screenshots. Everything.
Everything. All right. Smash that like, comment after the video post. You guys are all amazing, beautiful little pumpkin spice babies. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of No Offense, All Offense. Shout out to all my super chatters today. Shout out to Mims and Gabor. There's going to be a 53-part series of me getting to the bottom of who is lying in this series of who owes who a call back. Thank you, Joe. Follow me on all the social medias, you guys, and I'll be back very soon with another video. But until then, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.